Got all the Discord stuff sent. Got a new mic setup. Got a new camera. HD the beads, you know. Quick tour. So, guys, finished the gap in there. But I did finally draw my tentacle design. The outline for the rest of the crown with a film strip and a needle. And then to finish up the side of the skull where the rose is, the music note lines going into a guitar with the little rest. So it's going to be the amber color fading into the black, and then I'll switch that over into the tentacles and all that mess. And then from the tentacles up is going to be ocean to sky, and then the top of the skull is going to be space. So for the side where the rose is and the butterfly is going to be sky to cloud to space. The only undecided part so far is this section of the skull, which honestly, once I get to the space, I might just do a galaxy ring and fill that up. The holes I got covered with a vinyl. It was an easy option. It's the high strength one, so it's not going to peel out. Once I glue that up, it's going to be a solid fix. Same thing for the bottom. Finally sealed that up, and the cord hole as well. So I've got my beads pre-wired, and the goal for today is to fill in the gaps of the front, and then we are going to go into the guitar side, because I've got the ambers and the dark sides for that. I'm using my erasers so I can level out the skull. It actually helps pretty well. There we are. So I'm gonna turn the music up a bit, and we'll get to putting on some beads. Anytime an ad pops up today, I'll just mute the music for a bit and then wait for that to be over and put the music back on. So I'm using a white archival glue. It goes on pretty opaque and it'll dry clear depending on how much you put. But I'm going to get the beads that I'm using for this section. So I have the green of the palm and my sugar white. Now I put the beads on a wire to make them easier instead of picking them out one at a time. So once I put the glue on, I'm basically just dropping the bead where I want it. I can move it around a bit, but it's a lot easier than having to go in each bead or driving through that. So when I put the glue on, I go for the area that I'm intending to put the bead on, while at the same time dragging out a bit, because I want to make sure if I drop the bead a little, it'll actually stick to the skull instead of bouncing around all over the floor. Because with my break, I cleaned up my streaming a bit, and I had found 17 beads on the floor, so I'm going to try to knock that number down to 0. So we're going to be doing a mix in between the green and the white over here. So I'm going to uncrimp these wires. So the designs that I added to the skull are on the sketch pad next to me. The blue is what was already there. The pink and the red are what I added. Just going into break, I didn't really have an idea of how to finish the skull. I knew how to get it done, so I was doing a bit of drawing. HD camera, you can see all the beads, so if I mess up, you'll really be able to tell. Just adding a little bit more blue. So in these big sections where I use a lot of the same color, I'll drop a few in there and just kind of move them around until they fit right. So I don't have to be too precise with it. But I am still trying to make the gaps as small as possible, so with a round bead, every bead is off a little bit. Close up that section. So what I've gone to calling it is like a flower pattern. There will be one bead in the center, and then 4, so it's basically a 2 offset of 3 with a 2. So it's almost a flower-ish. And I'm talking with my hands again. So the break that I took was nice. I had family come visit. We ended up going to Universal Studios here. Nephew really loves dinosaurs, so obviously Jurassic Park was a big hit with him. Which, if you've been in my Instagram or was watching streams from, gosh, what was that, 2 months ago now? I actually made a Jurassic Park playset that he could use with his people and dinosaurs. So, as the title and my Instagram post have said, I feel like I might have to do some extra days of streaming or just off-stream work with the skull to get it ready in time for November, because that was the whole goal for the timeline, so I could get it done for Day of the Dead and take pictures of it with the celebrations here in Southern California. Sorry if I get a little too focused. And there we are. Just trying to make sure all the beads fit. Look good. Because right now I'm trying to mash these two areas that were done separately together, so there's going to be a little bit of conflict. Because this section was done and this one was done, so the fill-in is... it's going to be interesting. Somebody stream before this. So today, watching Cody's, who was making another trickster. The candy corn vampire kind of deal. So sitting there for a bit. We made tacos for lunch. With a bit of rice and beans. And it's been my day up till now, so... palm part with the white, and then I'll fill into the face. That way I can get the detail in the palm leaf and then only have to worry about messing up a bit on the white where it's all one color. So I'm going to add a little extra pink. It's not pink. I'm going to add a little extra blue. That way we can start to build up a tack. Because the surface tension of the glue likes to pull to each other, so I spread it kind of wide. Lost count of how many beads are actually on the skull, and I stopped at 5,000 because I started just to pump through it and get them on. So I'll probably have to recount at the end to see how many are on there if I want to. people doing tighter, and I've never actually done it before. And if I wasn't doing the skull, I probably still wouldn't do it, because it's a lot to do. But anybody that can do it, I'm just really impressed with how they can create such good work, pop it out like that. So I've also been trying to figure out what's going to be the next project once this is done. And I've been thinking of going to doing an acrylic painting, but of what? I have no idea. Gotta fix my chair. There we go. It's a bit low. Gotta fit some the sugar in that spot. Saw that Celestial Beans coloring book is on Amazon now. She spent a lot of time doing that. Don't know her all that well, but I can still be proud for her to being able to do a coloring book, because that's a lot of work in an area that I do not know. And I applaud her for attempting it and actually finishing it. I don't know this song. Kind of James Bondy. Just gonna give it a tap to make sure they're seated. sugar skull right now. I've been doing this for like 2 months now already. I just got back from a break. Give me just one moment. I can give you a tour of the skull. Okay. So, I went for a basic sugar skull face. The jaw is a pink lemon that you used a dark blue as the gradient beginning to 1, 2, 3 other blues with a little red filigree in between. I then went to putting the pineapple skin on the top of the head because I didn't know what other design, but normally sugar skulls have a geometric, so I figured that worked out pretty well. I put a jewel at the top, continued to a rose on the side, a monarch butterfly on this side, as well as a California poppy and an orchid. They are the 15. They're tiny seed beads, and they're glass. So that's why I picked the chrome skull. So that way, once the light goes through it, you can get a nice reflection. Oh, I didn't even show you what okay, so the plan section. I'm going to have octopus tentacles coming up. There's going to be a bit of a sea, the sky, and then the top of the skull is going to be a space. And I figured I'll bleed some of the pineapple skin in with the colors as the stars. And then this side's a guitar, so I'll have the amber bleed into a black, and then I'll fade back into the tentacles as well. If you have any other questions, go for it. So the whole goal for this was to have it finished by November, so I can take pictures of it with that at the Day of the Dead celebrations here that they have. And then after that, it's just going to be used to hold my headphones, because this is actually pretty close to life size for a skull. So my headphones fit pretty well on it. I'll show you. Yep, so when I'm done streaming or not using the headphones, I can just sit on the skull in the corner, out of the way, because right now, when I'm done, my headphones just go on the back of the chair. I figured it would be nice to have another spot to put them. Thank you. My biggest problem when I was making the skull was actually the section of the teeth, because the way that the crevices are, some of the beads overlap and kind of sat funny, but everything else has been working out wonderfully. now that I got a new camera, you can actually see the beads, because the original camera I was using was basically just a web camera. So the beads just kind of bled into a simple color. So now you can actually see everything pretty well. And I've been pre-wiring the beads, so that way when I put the glue, I can just drop the bead where I want them to be, instead of going through trying to grab one bead at a time, or any other way you try to do it. And then I crimp the top of the wire so they don't slide off until I'm ready to use them. But the part of the beading that made everything kind of just click was when you realize you're just making pixel art. So you just go in and fill the colors you need in spots. So we got that part of the face done. I have just a little bit left of the green pre-wired, so we'll probably only get halfway on this palm leaf, and then I'll just jump to another section. Do a little bit of rotate. And I'm using just erasers to hold the skull because it's very oddly shaped. So position it. Push in the erasers and the next section. When I bought the beads, it was all these together on a set with this little tower thing that you pull them off. So I bought the beads before I knew what the design was, which probably wasn't a good idea at the beginning, because a couple of my designs I've been like, oh, I want a different color, but I've just been using the colors that look pretty good together. Like for the rose, I wanted to show like a light detail. So there is the red would be the base, the pink would be the highlight, and then I have some darker purple beads, which would be the shadow. Same thing with the poppy is 2 different oranges. I have more of a pearlescent orange to show the light side, and then just the basic orange for the main body. And the reason why I have the colors like that is mainly because it was cheaper to buy it in a complete set with a whole bunch of other colors in it already. So if I was to do it again, I have a base set of colors to go with, and if I want special colors, I can always get some more. Okay. I've been trying to keep the design more 3D-ish, I guess I would say, with the way the highlights are. The only thing that's kind of basic is the ring around the eyes. It's just a solid color with an outline. but everything else is with the intent of showing depth. Take a little water break. So when I was doing this, I used what colors I had, and then figured out what design could go for me. I feel like I was probably doing the entire project backwards a bit, because I didn't even have a final design for the skull until yesterday. Just been kind of winging it. And then some of these are drawn on here, like the outline of what I want to follow for the palm leaf was, but the eyelet socket, I just kind of freehanded and went for what looked the same on the other side. It is my first attempt with using beads to do a sugar skull. I have done sugar skulls as drawings for tattoos before. In fact, I have one around here somewhere. This is the base idea from one of the skulls that I've been trying to do for a while. So it's like the jaw with a little bit of shadow. On the eye, I did a little bit more for like a lace, but the idea of poppy and the stuff was there. So I used my ideas from my sketches for the skull, and then zhuzhed it up with a little bit more stuff. It is very hard to find a sugar skull that is actually complete all the way around. The majority of the ones I saw had like a little bit of detail on the side, but most of them were one color with just the face detail. So when I got stuck on what to do, I was looking up other stuff, and I didn't find any references. So hopefully when this one is done, and if anybody looks for help with how to decide a design for the back, they'll figure it out. Oh, really? Are you hand beading, or is it like an application like I'm doing? Because there is a skull mask in, forget which James Bond, but it's basically just like this section, and it like attaches with the sunglass earpieces, and I've always looked at trying to get one of those and make it into a sugar skull mask, but you know, so many projects, so little time. Ooh, on leathers. Dang. Yeah, I've sewn with leathers before, and that is a skill to get done right. Interesting. Okay, so now I have a couple of questions. Is it a formed leather mask? Like, is it a piece of leather that is like formed to the shape of the thing and then you're adding to it? Or is it the leather on like a plastic backing, something like that? Hey guitar, it's good to see you. I am currently just trying to fill in the gap right here. So I have a little bit of a palm leaf and then bring up the sugar from the face of the skull. So that way the front section will be done. But I still got some extra work to do. However, I have the designs for this whole side, so this side can get done. This side can get mostly done. And then the back is the tentacles with an ocean and stuff, so it's planned out. It's just in the process of getting done. Why, thank you. It's definitely been a lot of work. It was good to have a little break last week. Thank you. It hasn't been like a project that's been too stressful. I started it early enough to get it done in time, I hope. But if it works out, then my time management's definitely getting better. Because I need to go back and look at it, but I'm pretty sure I've been doing this for 2 months already. Because I got the skull right when the Halloween decoration stuff started popping up at Home Goods. Because the skull is actually a lamp. There's a hole in the top side for a giant light bulb. Yeah, so it's I don't know, lo-fi music, adding beads, just kind of zen for me. Okay, I was wondering about that for the mask. That's a lot of work, but it sounds like it's gonna come out perfect. Wait, what? Reggie gave me a shout out? What is she doing? Hold on a minute. What is this she thinks Allison, thank you for the follow. And thank you for that sub to Cody earlier today. Oops. Something's wrong with the music. I'll play something. There we go. I just had to buffer a bit. Thank you for the follow, Itchy Panda. See, I'm a small enough streamer that I can actually say who follows me. And I feel like that's a personal touch that once that you get to a bigger stream, there's way too much going on that they can't really do it, but they try, which is nice. I don't know what else to say. I'm doing well, Panda. I would say finally halfway through the skull. But I've been jumping around, so maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But it's definitely at the point now that you can actually see the work and where it's headed. I'll do a quick tour again, because don't know who popped in or not. But we got a full original-ish style sugar skull for the top of the face. Did a pink lemon, so I have the rind and the skin for the chin. I did a blue gradient I was messing around with. Basically followed a pixel art pattern to fade. A little red filigree. I have a rose on this side that's going to feed into music notes into a guitar that follows the crown up to a pineapple skin to get the geometric following shape, which then follows the rest of the skull. The palm tree leaf into a California poppy. Then I'm going to have a film strip, a little bit of a needle and ribbon. I started on work on the orchid, but I figured I want to finish the face first. That then leads into a bunch of octopus tentacles that's going to go into the ocean, then to the sky with a little bit of Van Gogh style, so it'll have like the running lines, and then into space on the top of the skull. So right now I'm just filling in the front of the face. Thank you. It's definitely a lot of work, and when anybody compliments it, it kind of validates the time I spent on it, so thank you. Oh yeah. Honestly, every time you get a little section done, it's a big, oh my gosh, can't believe I got that far and it looks so good. Because when I started, I did full sections of the face. I did the teeth, then I did the jaw, and I was doing the face. And the face is a lot of white. And I was kind of getting to the point of, is it going to look good? What's the next idea? So then I went to jumping around of adding the rose, the butterfly, and everything else. And then it just all kind of works. in these areas that are interesting, because since I jumped around these like seam areas, I have to kind of go around, mess around, and find smaller beads or bigger beads to make it work together. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for wishing me luck on getting affiliate. I know it's not really an art project everyone's going to be all into at the beginning, but it's something that I wanted to get done, so there's that. It's a self-fulfillment kind of thing. Yeah, but thanks for stopping by, doing the follow, everything you do. Hope your day goes well. I don't know what else to say. Thank you. Getting emotional gluing on beads. Nope, that's definitely not me. Oh, self-promotion. I have to do that. Here we go. Haha. There we are. When I finish sections, normally a day or two after, once the glue's dried, so it's not so white, I do try and post a reel or a story onto Instagram. So if any of y'all want to look at past ones and see the process, or just go there and see what's going to happen coming up, stuff like that. Wait a minute. I'm at 69 followers. Nice. looks like I'm running out of pre-wired green beads. I still have a lot of there, but we're not going to do wiring on stream because that's a little bit of a slow and tedious task. So I'll finish with the green that I have. We'll go to a bit of a break. So I'll do some stretching in water. And then we'll come back and finish this side of the face. I've got and it's a lot of white, but the white's going to come into here, fade into a graphite-ish color, and go solid, and then fade into the amber for the guitar. So that's the part I'm going to tackle next. White beads in there so I can have that little gap in between the leaves. That should be fine. So I'll leave you with this angle and do a quick BRB. Once I find out where to put my layer. Ah, there we are. Alright. Be back soon. Okay, refilled my water, had a nice stretch. Gotta turn off that BRB. Bingo. Alright, we're gonna work on that fade, so full rotation of the scale. Maybe a tilt it back, actually. Still kind of right now, sorry. Another wedge on that side. 3 wedges. Oops. Touched wet beads. And I'm going to position those before they dry in the wrong place. Sorry about that. When I don't pay attention. Right. Face is wet, do not touch it. I need something to pick it up like this. What do I have? Yeah, look at that. And then get the eraser from this side. And wedge it there and there. Perfect. And we're still in frame. Everything is going very well. So I have these squigglies on there because that's the idea of where I want the full color to be. So in between here and here is going to be the fade from the sugar white to the graphite-ish color. Just going to coat the whole area. Try and get rid of that surface tension when I add the second layer of glue. So that's our working section right now. And here is that graphite color that will be in there. So we'll get some of that wire ready to go. Then I have to watch out because on some of these sugar white colors I have, there are the random pearl white in there because they're right next to each other in the tray, so they can kind of jump over when you're putting them on and not paying attention. So let's go in and fill that area. So I'm going to add a couple of the sugar white, then like sporadically add the graphite color in there to try and get that fade to look as natural as possible, almost like if you're going from light to dark of a shadow. This is a color I've not used on the skull yet, so let's see how it matches. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So the first line is going to be a bit sporadic, and then I'll kind of get into a pattern and go through. Kind of like how the dark blue is done. Dried glue on the bottom of that wire, so it's stopping the beads a bit, so peel that off. Go there. We'll add a, see, there was a pearl white in that string. no dropped frames this whole stream. That's been good. Just trying to figure out how well the internet would work without being a priority on the Wi-Fi system. Transition. So turn on that light, cut down that glare a bit. Not dropping a whole bunch of beads at once. So I'm trying to be a little bit more methodical on how this gradient, fade, shade stuff will look together. So we'll do a couple of beads at a time and then add the other color. Whites are looking whiter on camera. because the glue is still behind it drying, but it will eventually turn to this color with the gold showing through. That's why I try to do my Instagram posts of the skull a couple hours to a day later. It's time for a little bit more glue. Some more of that graphite. Get some of those closer together now so they're not so spaced. I just said the same thing twice using so many words. A little double clump there so it doesn't look so patterned. It's almost getting the freckles on the side of the face. Gonna start going a little heavier with the gray. So we're about midway through the transition. Drop a couple more to pre-position and then go back and add some of the white. Would this be considered the cheek? As I'm talking to myself, I am agreeing with myself, this is the cheek. Adding some more glue in. So it'll be the 2, offset 3 underneath, and another 2 on top. Because that is the closest the beads can be with the smallest gap. Then I'll try and push that into the next section. Because some of this is a little wonky. Since these are contrasting colors, it's going to be a lot easier to see the fading than with the blue. Because then once we get to the gray, I'll add a couple of speckles of white and then full gray. section of all gray. So I put a lot of glue on, and I'm just going to try a couple and position them. I don't know why this song popped in my head. Doesn't even go with this. I actually like the way the transition's going. This is nice. I'm always questioning myself until it actually comes out. Yes, random songs will pop into my head, and I will either hum them or sing them out loud and then realize what I'm doing. It's kind of like when people have like that voice going on in their head all the time. When mine's not talking, it's a radio station just playing music, so that's what happens. So my original design of the skull is kind of close to how it's turning out, just a little different. Like, I was gonna have more pieces just on top, and then the bottom, I say bottom layer, but behind, like, the rows would be the transition of colors of a serape. So, I mean, I'm getting close, but I've added more elements to it, so. Close to original design idea, but definitely better. Try to keep the surface I'm working on level, so that way the glue doesn't really run. Use a bit more glue. Just repositioning to get the level. to figure out when I want to start the transition into the amber of the guitar. Get rid of those loose ones. Look at it. I think I'm going to bring the solid to about here, and then start doing the fade. That's going to be where the solid goes up to. Actually, I might drop a couple of random amber colors in there to start the transition. Yeah, right there, I feel like there should be one. I'm going to drop a couple of random ones so they can get positioned. Now to begin the big transition from the gray to the amber of the guitar. Which should be that much space, I think. So I'm going to pre-glue the area so there's a surface tension relief. And I need to adjust the level again. That should be good. I think I'm going to close up this gradient and just go for the amber now. A little water. Couple of the ambers, move them into position, and I'll scatter a few random grays in there. Music's buffering again. Got another little buffer. It's fun. So I dropped my random grays in there, and now it's going to be all amber. I think we're gonna switch up the music, and we'll go with this one. A little bit of spooky music. It's the soundtrack from Oxenfree. And it looks like I didn't wire another amber color, which was a bit foolish on my part. But let's look at the colors I have. flip it over. So I have enough to do the gradient on the other side. But I honestly want to just finish up the guitar. So, what I'm thinking is, we call stream short today. We go into Reggie, since they gave me a shout out today. And honestly, I'll go hang out there anyways. And I'll probably finish the guitar off stream, that we can keep up with the schedule. And then I can figure out what random color will be in these two sections. So I'm going to say thank you for showing up today. For any of you who spent time, added to the follower list, the viewer list, the fact that you showed up at all. The comments today have been really nice. Thank you for that. Quick overview of what's been done. A little bit of fill in there. Some of there. Then we did the gradient and that. So I'm gonna definitely wire up a ton more beads. That way we can get through this week and try to get as much as possible done with the skull. Because I've got 2 weeks and maybe a day to finish. So I'm gonna see if Reggie's still there. They are. Honestly, and then I always get shower ideas, so I'll probably figure out what I want to do with the stars on the top. But we are going to go to Reggie. They're sculpting. I'm pretty sure they're still doing the breads for the Day of the Dead. So let's say hi. Thank you for coming by, and see you next time.